Hello, people. This is me, your teacher Marcelo. Um, Today, I will talk about one guy that I really admire. And as your classes are going to, your groups are going to prepare the work about a musician or a singer or a band, I chose this guy. His name is Dave Grohl. Okay, so we'll start talk a little bit about his biography. Follow me, please. So you see there on the top is his picture when he was playing for a band named Scream. As you can see, his hair is bleached. Okay, so David Eric Grohl was born in January the 14th, 1969. American singer, musician, songwriter, and director. He's best known for his time playing for Nirvana. He was the longest serving drummer for Nirvana from 1990 to 1994. But he's also the founder, lead vocalist, rhythm guitarist, and primary songwriter of the rock band Foo Fighters. He also played had other projects, and we can name here the Crooked Vultures, uh, Late, PROBOT. In these two, the Late and PROBOT, he played all the instruments, and he also played in tour for Queens of the Stone Age. Okay, so talking a little bit about Dave Grohl's career. The first band we have to mention is a band named Scream. Is a punk band from Washington D.C. Uh, and but was originally formed in the suburb of Bailey's Crossroad, Virginia, formed in 1981, and is a part of the movement called Washington Hardcore Explosion. Hardcore is a branch of punk. So it's a more violent, aggressive, more radical in a way. As you can see in the picture, Dave Grohl is the one in the middle, dressed in black with a short hair in front of his eyes, actually. So, kind of cool look for the times. But most of the people know Dave Grohl when he was playing for Nirvana, right? And here we have a picture that we have Dave, the drummer, Kurt Cobain, the guitar player and singer, and Chris Novoselic, the bass player. So, besides being related to Seattle, Nirvana was formed in Aberdeen, in Washington, in 1987. Uh, and they had many drummers during their times. The first record of Nirvana, named Bleach, actually is my favorite record for Nirvana. Uh, they had two drummers in the record, Daley Crover and Chad Channing. So, as you can see, for Nirvana, it was really difficult to get a drummer, a proper drummer. So when they got Dave Grohl, they kind of gel this formation that stayed together for 4 years, uh, and just ended because Kurt committed suicide, as everybody knows. And Grohl was lucky enough to be in the band when they released Nevermind. Nevermind was uh, the change, the turning point for not just musical industry, not just rock and roll, but culturally too, because the grunge movement just exploded. So you had bands like Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Mudhoney, plenty of bands like uh, most of them from Seattle because they had the record label named Sub Pop, and Sub Pop was the record label that gathered all these bands. And actually, in the first moment, uh, and then the movement get as big as you can see. And actually, if you see the cover of Nevermind, that's this little boy swimming in a pool, and there's a dollar bill in front of him. Some people they create a lot of theories that uh, it's against capitalism and things like that. But sometimes I think people overthink too much. Maybe it's just an image that it's cool, people want to use. Fine, let's get it on. Uh, and also, the word, the title of the record, Nevermind, maybe brings a connection to Nevermind the Bullocks, that is a record from the Sex Pistols. As Nirvana is a kind of punkish band, so I have a friend that he gave me the perfect definition for Nirvana. He said to me, Nirvana is a punk band trying to play heavy metal. So, as they are not very proficient in their instruments, so it sounds weird. And I really clearly see this approach in the first record of Nirvana, The Bleach. Nevermind is a more poppy record. They have more singable songs. It doesn't mean that it's not good. They had very wonderful songs. Come as You Are is a great song. Territorial Pissings, another great song. So it's but it's different from the first one. Actually, it was more raw, and this one is more uh, developed. Anyway, but uh, Kurt was always a great songwriter, and it can be shown both in the first record, then in the second record too. So after Nirvana disbanded because of Kurt Cobain's suicide, Dave stayed a little time without wanting to get in touch with music, not just professionally but also personally. He didn't want to hear music. He was in depression, and it's quite understandable because you lose your friend, your bandmate, the main writer in your band. But after time passed by, Dave started to Dave went to a studio and he started to record some songs just for having some fun. Um, and he played all the instruments in these songs, and he made a demo tape, and he didn't want to put his name on it because it would sound too much pretentious maybe. So he created this fake band named Foo Fighters, and the name was taken from UFO, unidentified flying object that allegedly was saw during the World War II. And after sending this tape, he got a record deal, and then he had to hire some musicians to make part of the band. One of these guys was Pat Smear, uh, that worked with Nirvana at the end of the band as the second guitar player. So before Nirvana ends up, they were not a trio anymore. They had four members, and Pat Smear was the second guitar player. You can see him play in the acoustic. You can see him play in some last concerts. But actually, as the guys in Nirvana said, it was just coming back from the original idea because in Bleach, Nirvana was supposed to have two guitars, but if you see the picture, there's two guitar players, but in the record, there's just one guitar player. It's just Kurt Cobain because Jason Everman he just put the money to record the record, the $600 dollars for the record. Okay, so keep on developing as an artist. Dave Grohl released a record named Probot, and Probot was his heavy metal project, and he did like that. He record all the songs, playing all the instruments again, and invite his favorite heavy metal singers. So It was a way of him to pay homage to singers that he likes, that he loves, and he made this record as a kind of homage to them. After that, he joined a group called Then Crooked Vultures. Um, Most of the times when you have groups that are formed by members of other famous bands, they have a label called supergroup. So in this supergroup was formed by John Paul Jones, the former member of Led Zeppelin, is a bass player of Led Zeppelin. And also he plays keyboards too. Dave Grohl, as Holly will know, in this band he played drums and backing vocals. Josh Homme, the guitar player and singer for the Queens of the Stone Age. He also played in other bands like Eagles of Death Metal and Kyles. And during live performances, they have the help of musician Alain Johannes. That is a guitar player, play keyboard, sing a little bit. He was very known to be connected to Soundgarden singer Chris Cornell, who unfortunately passed away some years ago. He committed suicide too. It's a kind of ghost of suicide for rock musicians too. In this picture here, you can see Dave Grohl playing some instruments. You see him playing bass, playing drums, guitars, and this song play is a 20 something minute effort of just one man band. So he recorded all the parts of the song, and if you watch the music video, you can see many Dave Grohls playing each one his own instrument. No? So it's a very interesting idea to be done. The song, people say, is a bit too long. It reminds me Rush in some parts, and I think it was intentional of his part to remind Rush in this part. Is a good example of how he is very dedicated to his projects, and when he wants to do something, he goes there and do. We also have some curiosities about the man. If you see the picture above me, this picture is from the music video "Learn to Fly." In this picture, Dave Grohl is dressed as a Foo Fighters female fan who meets the real Dave Grohl in a plane, and she wants to get an autograph. It was before these times for selfies and shit like that. So here I bring some curiosities about the man. So he has a short attention span, open quotation marks. I'm like a hyperactive child. I'm a big fucking spaz, close quotation marks. So he's the guy who recognizes himself as having a problem of attention and hyperactivity. So he cannot stay in one place doing just one thing. He wants to do a lot of things. But he was smart enough to channel his hyperactivity into something good. He served as an ambassador for climate change campaign Global Cool. So it's not just Greta Thunberg that is doing the job. Dave Grohl is doing his part too. He's got a secret love for the Spice Girls. Mostly in rock world, we have a kind of policy that is looking at us. If you are just listening to rock, real rock, heavy rock, and you cannot listen to pop music and things like that. So this is why he say it's a secret love, because he cannot openly say this. I think nowadays he said because he doesn't care. As a kid, he wanted to be a helicopter pilot, So as all kids in the world, daydreaming, thinking about, oh, I want to be a helicopter pilot. But surely when he saw the reality, he said, no, maybe next life. Dave supposedly chews gum while performing on stage because it keeps his mouth moist and his vocal cords fresh for singing. So I always It always caught my attention when I saw him singing. I saw some white thing in his mouth. So it's the chewing gum. And it's really interesting because it makes his vocal cords fresh and his mouth moist so he can sing better, you know. So it's a great idea. In the end, we have here a picture of Mr. Grhol receiving as a present for a Foo Fighters fan a bottle of pitu, the cachaça, right? And so that's very interesting because in this picture you can see is the I guess the Instagram of Pitu talking about the best propaganda they could have is this girl giving Dave Grohl a Pitu bottle. And it's interesting, just as a segue to finish, when I was in Slovenia in 2003 playing Bossa Nova, I had some concerts that were sponsored by Pitu. And they said to me, okay, you can drink whatever you want, no problem. And I really drank. I started playing João Gilberto and finishing playing the Ramones. So it was a very interesting experience. So I hope this class helped you to prepare your presentation, to prepare your work, and I hope you enjoy it. Peace, love, harmony, a little bit of money, a little bit of kiss too.